Hello and welcome to your third maths lesson of this week. My name is Miss Goodwin and we'll be continuing along our theme of circles. On Monday we looked at the area of sectors. Yesterday we looked at arc length and finding the perimeter of a sector of a circle. And in today's lesson we'll be looking at the volume and surface area of a cylinder. So to start today's lessons, can you go ahead and pause this video and have a go at the do now? Okay, before I reveal the rest of the answers, I'd just like to have a quick look at two of these questions. For this question here, we're asked to find the radius of the circle with the following equations. The first thing you need to remember is that the general equation of a circle is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So that means the number here that it equals is the radius squared. So if I want to find the radius of each of these circles, I need to take the square root of this number. The square root of 4 is 2, so that tells me that radius is 2. And the square root of 5 is simply that, the square root of 5. It's a surd, it can't be simplified. If I was to take the square root, it's an irrational number, so I simply leave it as square root of 5. For this question over here, the challenge question, we were asked to work out the volume of a prism. Well, the first thing you need to remember is that a prism is a shape that has a cross section at the front, or the front face. And as I slice that shape up, I end up seeing that face again and again and again. That's why it's called the cross section, because it's the same no matter where we slice the shape. The formula for volume of a prism is the area of the cross section multiplied by the depth. What's nice about this question is they've already given us the area of the cross section, or the area of that face. So it's going to be 22 multiplied by the depth of 6. This will give me 132 metres cubed. Metres because we started with metres, cubed because we're talking about volume. Can you please mark the rest of your answers? Okay, as I've already mentioned, in today's lesson we will be looking at surface area and volume of a cylinder. Can you please take out your maths book and write down today's date and title? And I'd just like you to have a think about that question on the screen in front of you. Okay, so when thinking about the shapes on a tin of baked beans, we've got a circle at the top and a circle at the bottom. That happens to be the same circle. For the rectangle, we find that by unwrapping the can of baked beans. So if you were to carefully peel it off and unroll it, you would find a rectangle. To know the measurements of this rectangle, well, it's going to be the height again, because that hasn't changed, and for the width, it is in fact going to be the circumference of the circle, because it's come from around the outside of the circle. So this here is going to be pi times diameter, as it's the circumference of the circle. That tells us that our general equation is the area of the circle plus the area of the circle, and that is the same circle. So we're going to have pi r squared and pi r squared, which combines to give us 2 pi r squared. We've then also got the area of the rectangle. The area of the rectangle is going to be the height multiplied by pi times diameter. So this is going to be pi times diameter times height, which can be simply written as pi d h. So my overall formula is 2 pi r squared plus pi diameter h for height. Can you please pause the video here and write this down into your book? Okay, let's look at how we use this. So I would typically not remember the formula. I would remember the key shapes that I see on that cylinder, work them out separately, and then find my final answer. For these questions, we're just going to give our answer in terms of pi to avoid the use of a calculator. You may also be asked to use a calculator later if you're asked to give it to a decimal place. So I'm going to start with area of a circle, which is pi r squared. Substituting in what I know, I get pi times my radius, which is 3 squared. This is 9 pi. 3 squared is 9, multiplied by pi. I want to know the area of the rectangle, which is the strip around the outside. However, I cannot know that until I know the circumference, because the area of the rectangle is going to be the circumference multiplied by the height. So I need to know the circumference first. The circumference is going to be pi times diameter, which is pi times 6, because this 3 is just a radius. I need to go all the way across. So pi times 6, which gives me 6 pi. So the area of the rectangle is now the circumference of 6 pi multiplied by the height of 7, which is going to give me 42 pi. The last thing I need to do is add this all up. I've got 2 circles, each of 9 pi each. It's the top and the bottom, plus the rectangle of 42 pi. Overall, this is going to give me 60 pi. We're talking about area, so our units are going to be squared. We started with centimetres, so it's centimetres squared. Can you please pause this video here and have a go at the one on the right after you've written down the example? Please pause the video here and have a go at this question. Check your answer. Okay, for these questions, on question 1 you need to give your answer in terms of pi. For question 2 you will need to use your calculator and give your answer to 2 decimal places. Pause the video and come back to see the answers in a few minutes. Please pause the video here and mark your work. Okay, we also need to be able to find the volume of a cylinder. As we've already discussed in this lesson, we can find the volume of a prism by working out the area of a cross-section and then multiplying by the length. For a cylinder, that's going to give us the area of the circle of pi r squared and then multiplied by the height. Please pause the video here and write this down into your books. Okay, using that formula, start by writing the formula down and substitute in what you know. Simplifying this, we get pi times 9 times 7, which will give us 63 pi. At this point, you want to take your calculator and calculate that to 1 decimal place. Which gives us 197.9 centimetres cubed. Please pause the video, write this example down, then have a go at the one on the right. When you mark this question, please note that the diameter was given, not the radius. So you need to first recognise that the radius is going to be 4 metres and substitute that into the formula down here. Please pause the video here and have a go at this question on your own. Okay, for this task we're working at the volume of the cylinder. For the first question you need to give it to 1 decimal place, and for the second question in terms of pi. Please mark your work. Okay, alternatively you may be given the volume of the cylinder and asked to find out the height or even the radius. To do this you want to start with the formula and start to substitute in what we know. Pi times radius squared times by the height, which I'm going to leave as h, and this time that's going to equal the volume which is given down here. I want to now simplify this on the left hand side and then attempt to solve it. Rearranging this, I'm going to divide by 36 pi to isolate h, which gives me that h is 1600 over 36 pi. At this point you want to take your calculator and work that out. And to 1 decimal place that gives us 14.2 centimetres. Please pause the video here and write that example down into your book, then have a go at the one on the right. Please pause the video here and have a go at these questions. Mark your answers. Okay, don't forget to go to Frog, take a photo of your work and upload it using the file drop button. And I'll see you tomorrow for our final lesson.